Hey, blast off, I can talk my ass off. Hey, smoke you what you seen and I'll tell you what I saw. Hollywood, what you think and I'll tell you what I thought. And we can talk about it all when we hear on
What's up, y'all? What it do? We back.
We made it.
We made it in this thing. Smoke Dizzle.
What's up?
What number this is, bro?
29.
Oh, Lord. Now say it in English so I know you still know how to speak English.
29.
Y'all, this is episode 29 of the Trash Talk Podcast.
29.
How you feeling, Smoke?
I'm good. You good?
I'm great, man. I'm loving life.
Hell yeah.
Man, just to catch you guys up on some things, man. We went on to the show Fight the Flat Earth Again. I don't know if you guys checked out the one we did, but he's a pretty big YouTube channel, and we there was the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, so we did a debate if the moon landing actually happened. I'll put the link to that video in this description. But instead of me getting ganged up by his entire audience like I did on the first one, I brought my homie with me.
I was here.
He was there. And, yeah, we'll link it into it. And we're going to discuss a little bit of that as well. We also going to talk about Area 51.
Yeah.
But,
don't storm Area 51.
please, we'll talk about it when it comes.
Yeah.
But, let's go ahead and get into the segments, man. We're going to get into this OMG and
WTF.
Yes, sir. Who goes first, me or you?
It's your turn to go first.
Man, let me tell y'all what's going on in this beautiful state of great old Georgia.
Brutal mistake.
Brutal mistake.
Brutimus.
Brutimus.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a wrestler, Brutimus the
Brother Bruti.
or Brutimus the
Brutus,
beefcake?
Brutus Beefcake.
Brutus Beefcake.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. This is coming from WSBTV Channel 2 in Atlanta. Man accused of killing his mom, who was quote unquote driving him crazy, was arrested at the Atlanta airport.
Oh, Jesus.
So, a Tennessee man allegedly killed his 76-year-old mother over the weekend and asked his coworkers to take pictures of him at work to help him for an alibi. John Ralph, 51, was attempting to flee the country on Saturday when U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents and the United States Marshal Service cornered him at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, nearly 300 miles from the Tennessee home he shared with his mother. He was charged with first-degree murder in the death of Edith Betty Ralph, who he'd said repeatedly was driving him crazy. Ralph lived with his mother and had already made numerous statements to friends and family that his mother was just driving him absolutely bonkers, said the Clayton County Police Department. And one day, he just decided to do it, man. She died from a severe head trauma and several gunshot wounds. Jesus, dude, you have to be completely sick in the head to do not only anybody, but your mama.
John.
Talk to him, Smoke.
John. Do not come bringing that Tennessee drama to Georgia.
Please don't.
We don't need no more of your kind. Where was he headed?
Out the country.
Obviously.
I don't know where, but out the country.
Where could he have been headed?
If I had to take a guess, he was probably going, anywhere off of North America.
Extradition state? Not
like what, Sweden?
Extraditing country, rather, not a state.
Is that the word, extraditious? I think that's...
Extraditing?
Well, we know extraditing.
Yeah.
But would it be an extraditious? I think that's right.
Maybe.
But
I'm the language arts guy. I don't know.
Talking to somebody who's dyslexia here. And I told Smokey to count to 3 the other day, and he went, I said, start from 1 and count to 3. He said 8, 9, 10.
2.
I'm like, oh, Lord. He'll get it. Give him a minute. But
Yeah.
him and them numbers.
Man, I'm telling you.
That way, when them big YouTube checks start coming in, I'll be like, all right, Smoke, here you go.
I'll be like $45?
Nah, come on. Nah, but what country would you think he would be going to, man?
If I had to guess, it's got to be some small country that's not going to extradite, of course. What do you think?
Is Canada
South America?
one of those?
Oh, Canada's going to send you right back.
Dude, Canada has some of the strict... Like, I've heard stories that if you have a simple assault charge, you can't get into Canada.
No, you can't.
You have a felony, they won't let you into Canada.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why?
They don't want your drama up there. They like, you can stay with John down in Tennessee. I don't give a damn. You ain't bringing it up here.
That's crazy.
Canada's the nicest people on earth. They don't want none of that, man.
You ran into my car. It's okay. Sorry. It's okay.
It's okay there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, bud.
You said, let me tell you something immediately. I just thought, let me tell you something. Who said that?
Let me tell you something, brother.
Brother. Hulkamania, brother.
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Yeah. I don't know how we got onto this, but if I had to take a guess, he probably was going anywhere out of the North American continent.
Yeah.
Because,
You would think some small, maybe Brazil, or what do you think? Do they extradite?
I have no clue. I know Sweden doesn't. Or any
Really?
Switzerland.
Bulgaria, maybe.
Yeah. Greenland, Iceland, or go to like one of those random islands in the
Let's
middle.
see. John was from Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
So he shows up in Bulgaria where they don't speak English.
And let me show you a
He's
picture
like,
of
hey,
him.
man, where's the grocery store?
Dude, that's exactly what I think he would sound like too. Look at I'll put this picture on screen, but look at old Ralph or whatever his name was.
John Ralph.
He looked like, hey man, what y'all doing down
He's
there?
like, man, let me tell you something now. My mama,
She was driving me absolutely up the walls.
I was going up the wall and through the ceiling at that. But you know what? This is a despicable, deplorable human.
Yeah.
I would like to punch him right in his redneck face.
He definitely fits the description of a quote unquote
redneck. And some people got offended, so let me say I'm not using redneck in a derogatory term.
Is redneck a derogatory term?
Some people take pride in it.
But biological father being one, but go
people,
ahead.
I mean, but if you use it like in a way I just did, like I'm gonna punch him in his redneck face, people get mad about that, man. I've had them really come back on me for using the term redneck because they're like, redneck is not a bad person.
Right. So what is a redneck?
I think it just means country. I mean, the term originally came from farmers.
Right.
Working in the field, they would get sunburn on the back of their neck, so they called them rednecks.
Right.
But somewhere along the way, it became a derogatory term.
Mm.
And nowadays, if you use it in a way that it's almost like the N-word.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think it's on the equal playing field as the N-word?
I think for people that are rednecks, and if you're using it and you're not a redneck, they get offended.
So if you came up to me and you was like, man, you redneck.
Yeah.
How come it's okay for us to say redneck, but it's not okay for us to say the N-word?
Well, because they don't have groups out there protesting the R word.
So what's the...
You can't be dropping no R bombs in this.
What's the derogatory term for Chinese people? What do they say? Those kind of people.
Man,
say
it. We're on YouTube.
But what I'm
right
saying
now.
is you can say that. You can.
It's a something you would get in your armor.
Yeah, but how come it's okay to say? You can say Jew. Some people look at the word Jew as derogatory.
But it's still a way to describe a person of a certain faith.
Why not call them Jewish?
Oh, same thing.
So
But
they don't call us...
Jewish people are Jews. But that was also, would you say, derogatized at some point?
That's another word we're going to have to check. Y'all let us know if that's a real word.
Fact-checking here. But at some point in time, people would say, oh, I got ripped off. They Jewed me.
Yeah. See that... But we're okay with saying redneck. We're okay with saying Jew, but don't say the N-word.
Yeah.
Like,
And
look,
don't say the C word for Asians.
don't say the F word for the...
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
Hey.
But they will use that themselves.
Oh, yeah. And that's crazy. Let's get off of this. That was OMG. What we got in this hot state of Florida.
Of course, it's about 105 degrees in Florida right now.
Man, it feel like 105 degrees here.
Yeah, it's not far behind. All right. Florida man.
Oh, Lord.
Florida man.
I just feel it coming.
I'm going to edit.
I feel something coming. Let me hear it.
This is coming from Newsweek, but per our YouTube monetization, I'm going to edit this story and just say Florida man who was pleasuring himself in a Walmart parking lot grabbed the officer's behind during arrest, screaming, "Just let me feel it."
Please tell me the officer was a female.
A Florida man who was accused of pleasuring himself in a Walmart parking lot grabbed a deputy's buttocks while being arrested, saying, "Just let me feel it." Trenton James Rich of Pensacola.
Another northern Florida.
Panhandle. We get so many from Pensacola.
Yeah, man. Orlando, Tallahassee.
Was detained last Saturday by an officer from Escambia County Sheriff's Office who reported to North Navy Boulevard Walmart just after 4:30 p.m. after a complaint was filed about indecent exposure.
Wow.
The 19-year-old subject, he was only
19,
who is listed as homeless in jail records, allegedly made a number of lewd comments toward officer and resisted arrest before attempting to flee the area. Trying to figure out. An arrest report obtained by the local media outlet said Rich had been spotted by the deputy on a picnic table at the parking lot while shirtless. So he's just sitting. Oh my God.
What?
I can't even read all this. He's just sitting on a picnic table outside of the Walmart doing this without a shirt on. So he's not covering it.
Right. Well, I don't. Go ahead.
He gave his name, but then exposed his genitalia and said, "S it."
S it.
Yes.
S it.
Yes.
S it.
That's
Spell.
editing.
Spank it.
No.
Smash it.
No.
Oh.
Shortly after,
he said,
amid a tussle, Rich allegedly stepped back, put his hands into a karate chop stance, and started swinging at them, the deputy reported.
Lord Jesus.
The officer said Rich then grabbed his arms and rear end. It was a man.
Oh, wow. So, I'm sorry, go ahead. Were you finished?
Well, let's see. He allegedly tried to punch the officer and ran off on foot.
Yes.
He was quickly caught after fleeing behind the Walmart and detained.
See, the more you talk about this particular story, it makes me... You said this guy was homeless?
Apparently, according to the arrest records.
He was 19, so he's young.
Yes.
It sounds like he wanted to go to jail.
Maybe so.
You know, that's a thing with homeless people. A lot of homeless people, they'll do a petty crime or do something that'll land them in jail for 6 months, so they have 3 hots and a cot.
AC.
Female guards to look at.
I'm sure there's some jails that don't have AC, but I'd imagine most of them at this point in time.
I would say so.
Especially in Florida.
Of course, dude. You'd have to have AC.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like he's suffering from some kind of mental...
Of course. Yeah. That's always the thing in these Florida man stories is it's a toss-up. Drugs or mental illness.
One of the two.
It's almost a game we could play with these guys.
Is it the drugs or mental illness game?
I would be willing to bet this is mental illness.
Yeah. I feel like this guy might have been... I'm not going to say he was down on his luck, but I feel like he may have been, been on the streets and going through a depression. And, he's like, man, I'm sick of sleeping on these streets. I'm sick of not having a warm bed. I'm sick of not having food. You know what? Let me just do this.
Yeah.
And not only am I going to pleasure myself, that'll get me 30 days. But let me punch the officer. Oh, that's another 30 days. Let me get a indecent exposure. That's another 30 days. You know what? I'll be good for 3 months.
Yeah, and not only he added fleeing to the charges as well, resisting arrest.
Let's throw another 30 days on there. 4 days in the county jail.
That could very well be the case.
I think it is.
And I think we'll go with mental illness for this one.
Yeah, man. That's Florida for you guys.
That's Florida.
Yeah, man. But Smo Dog,
what's up?
I think we need to get into some good old-fashioned trash talk.
Booyah!
Booyah!
But hold up, we didn't do our mugshot.
Oh, you know what? So let's bring that back. Can we say that backwards? Let's get into No, all right. Booyah!
Yoop.
No, say it backwards. Say don't say the words. So booyah. Talk trash fashion, good. We retracted.
Left out old.
Yeah, so booyah. Talk, trash, fashion,
Old.
good. Oh,
Old, good.
good.
To and
Yeah, all right.
let's get.
Yeah, there we go. We'll get back into that. But what you got, man?
All right, break up the mugshot I sent you.
All right, let's see here. You sent it to me, Messenger, right?
Yes.
Let's see what we got here.
Got a good one for today.
I hope it ain't. Who ain't got no business?
It's pretty close, actually.
Oh Lord, this dude. Look. Okay, that can't be real. That can't be real, bro. All right, I'm looking. All right, let me describe what I see. This guy looks like he just found the winning lottery ticket in his car that he had no idea. Or this guy has done every bump of everything on Earth. I think this is you go to your web. I want you guys to go to your house. I want you to find a dictionary. I don't care if it's Webster, your elementary school dictionary. You pull it out. Go to the word perplexed. This is what's going to be next to that.
He is the literal definition of perplexed.
Absolutely.
He looks like they were like, you know what? Stand over here for the mugshot. And he's like, all right. And they're like, not only are you getting arrested, you won $5 million.
Huh? Who ain't got no? Yeah, man. This obviously with. I hope you have a backstory on this, man, because
I don't, man. I wish I did.
And he's toothless. His top lip is kind of flapping there, so it looks like he's missing his top tooth. And he looked like he's been in a few fights because his nose is crooked.
Yeah.
Huh.
This guy may have spent some time on the streets.
What would his name be? Give him a name.
I
look at him.
Going with Otis.
I'm thinking about an Ernest.
Ernest? Yeah.
Ernest or Otis.
Otis.
Could be a Earl.
Earl, yeah.
Could be a Earl. Yeah. Man, I wish I had a backstory for it.
I do too, man. Sometimes I find these in just lists of strange mugshots, and they don't give the backstories for them.
Right.
I mean, it may not be an interesting backstory at all. They're just like, hey, look at this mugshot, dude.
That's crazy, dude. There's in Covington, where we are, I don't know if this is everywhere, but there is actually a mugshot newspaper.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and some of those mugshots are like, so they have, I guess once you get arrested, once they take the mugshot, they have the right to put it out.
Uh-huh.
Right? I mean...
Yeah. Yeah, they do. I mean, that's public record at that point.
Do you know what we should do?
What's that?
One show, we should pull our mugshots out.
All right.
We should do that.
All right.
I'm serious and explain these mugshots. You try to guess what I got locked up for. I try to guess what you got locked up
That's a good idea.
for. We should do that. Yeah, man. But anything you want to add to this, dude?
No, I'd say Otis is either.
I mean, what would his charge be for real?
I would say jaywalking, and then he couldn't understand what the charges were, and he ran, and they're like, okay,
jaywalking.
You were getting a ticket, but come on in, bro.
do the voice, the old man voice.
Oh shit! Now what in the hell are you charging me with?
You got jaywalking, sir.
Jaywalking, like not the letter K, but the J.
Yes, sir. Like junkie.
Now you tell me when the hell did I make a J in the goddamn street?
Sir, you crossed the street illegally.
But the street was in my damn way.
You just won $500,000. That's how he looks, man. Man, that's
Otis. Have a good one, bro.
Oh, Otis. Yo, that's the explain this mugshot. Now, Smoke Dog, can we do this?
Yes.
Let's get into some good old-fashioned trash talk. Booyah! Yes, sir.
Who's gonna storm Area 51?
I signed that petition.
You did?
Damn sure did.
You really did.
Damn sure did.
And you ain't gonna be there.
I mean, it's in Nevada, so and I'm sure I'll have to work, so I don't think I'll be able to do that, but
I'm under the impression that no one is gonna be there.
I think you're right.
I mean, obviously, this all started as a meme, correct? I haven't looked too far into it. What was the meme?
It wasn't a meme, actually. It was a not a GoFundMe, but a petition. It was an online petition, and
it was started from a meme though, right?
No, a guy made a post on Twitter that said,
or Facebook,
one of the two, and it said, "Let's storm Area 51. They can't stop all of us," or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could call that a meme, but it was an actual petition.
I mean, technically, it could be considered a meme because it was satirical.
Right. You know what? And you probably don't know what Naruto is.
It's an anime.
Right. And
Naruto?
No, Naruto. But he does this run where he puts his hand behind his and he's like running. Yeah. He's like, if we do the Naruto run, we'll be able to dodge their bullets. Like, so yeah, obviously he was trolling a little bit. But I mean,
no. Listen, if this were to actually go down,
mm-hmm.
do you think that the military there is going to have the balls to unload on these people?
First of all, there are signs posted out that says there is authorization of deadly force if you cross these lines.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you know what? I think they actually removed those signs at some point. I was watching a video. You know, there's all these YouTube videos where people will go to the border of Area 51 and post videos from there. And you see they keep talking about how the camo guys.
Camo dudes.
Yeah.
Which is actually their name. They were called camo dudes.
Yeah. And they come down and they're actually not military.
Mm-hmm.
They're just independent security agents.
With the right to use deadly force.
I'd imagine they are.
Yeah. Is Nevada open carry state?
New Mexico.
New Mexico? Sorry.
Roswell, New Mexico.
You're right. Well, that's not where Area 51 is located. Area 51 is located at Groom Lake.
Is it?
Yes. It's not.
But it's not far from Roswell.
30, 40 miles maybe.
Yeah.
But you think it's an open carry state?
That's a good question. I would assume so. I mean, I don't know of New Mexico being any somewhat progressive or anything.
Being like, it's like the wild, wild west almost, you know?
Yeah. It actually was at one point.
It was. But here's my thing. Okay, talking about the whole storming it.
Wasn't that, I mean, just offhand, that was where Billy the Kid was shot, right?
I think,
wasn't it New
was it
Mexico?
New Mexico? It was New Mexico or Nevada, one of the two.
Somewhere out there in the
desert.
desert.
Or was it Texas?
I don't think it was Texas. I think it was New Mexico or Nevada. Yeah. I'd be willing to bet New Mexico right offhand.
He was killed, you said, or just shot?
Yes, where he was killed. Because I think he actually came from an eastern state like Ohio or something.
So what do you say, Nevada or New Mexico?
I say New Mexico.
I say Nevada. Let's figure it out.
All right.
Where was Billy the Kid shot?
Billy the Kid died in Fort Sumner, New Mexico.
Smoke dog with the booyah. All right, but let's take the whole storming Area 51.
Yes.
Okay, let's think hypothetically here. Let's say 1.5 million people showed up, right? And they did it. First of all, for people who don't know about Area 51, there was a crash that happened in Roswell. I want to say 47.
Oh, I was thinking like 43, but you may be right.
I'm almost positive on this one.
I suck with numbers.
We can bet this one if you want. I know I'll get this one right.
All right.
But 47 is when it happens. And apparently there was a crashed UFO that happened in a small town of Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah.
The local newspapers, they put out pictures, and they had a colonel or general or police officer, and he actually had pictures or they had pictures of him actually handling this material that looked like aluminum foil or mylar, something like that. Mm-hmm. And not too long after this crash happened, and eyewitnesses reported that there were 3 small bodies that were removed from this crash, and the newspaper officially put out UFO crashes in desert.
Yes.
2 days later, they retract that statement, and they say
it was a weather balloon. Just
a weather balloon. Now, a lot of people think this is weird because there were eyewitnesses saying that it was a large metallic object. There were bodies that were removed from the rubble, and they took these bodies along with the crash debris to a small place called Groom Lake which is now known as Area 51. So, and there's this guy named Bob Lazar. He's got a great documentary out right now. I suggest you guys go watch it. Him and Jeremy Corbell did it. It's called Bob Lazar, Area 51, and Flying Saucers. And it's very credible. Do you know his story?
I know somewhat of it. I've heard it. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I haven't studied him or anything, but
he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. Guys, I recommend y'all go watch that.
I still haven't watched that interview. I've been meaning to.
Dude, it's the fact that, like, okay, Bob Lazar came out in the 80s when he was, I can give y'all a quick backstory. He worked for Los Alamos doing like rocket propulsion. He actually made a car that ran on a jet engine. And that's what got the military interested in him. So they brought him in and they questioned him and they said, look, we're going to give you a highly secretive job and you can't tell anyone. So he was recruited to go to Area 51 and they basically had him reverse engineer alien technology.
Yes.
And he came out. And the reason he came out is because he went to some of his friends and he was like, listen, every Wednesday at this time they do a test flight. I'm going to bring you guys out. He did it one time, got away with it. Did it a second time, got away with it. Then he said that he started to get comfortable. They were bringing campers and barbecue grills like, oh, here comes a UFO. And the day they did that, they got caught. So they brought him in and they were like, listen, when we told you not to tell anybody, we didn't mean tell everybody. So they basically, you know, put him in a lot of trouble. So he's like, you know what, my life is in danger. And his life was so disarrayed that he couldn't even tell his wife where he was going. So his wife thought that he was having an affair. So she ended up having an affair. And him working for this top secret government, they tapped his phones just to make sure he's on the straight and narrow. And they were like, you know what? Since you told these people, look at what we found on your tap phones. Your wife is having an affair on you. So after doing that, he's like, you know what? My life's in danger. The only thing I can do, let me just come out to the public. And what he did when he first came out to the public, he blacked his face out. And it was actually on Coast to Coast AM. George Knapp.
Oh, it was after the original host.
George Nuri.
Yeah.
I think.
It was, no.
You got George Knapp and then Art Bell.
Art Bell.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he came out and he didn't want to show his face. He had his voice drop down and he went by the name Victor. And he was making all these claims. He's like, yeah, you know, there was a reversed engineered this alien technology. There was 9 crafts. There were small bodies. And everybody thought this guy was a crank. They thought he was crazy.
Yeah.
At the time, he said, I mean, and this guy, you just listening to him talk, you can tell he's very intelligent. I know I'm rambling here, but I'm gonna get to the point.
No, you're good.
He, in the 80s, everybody knows what the periodic table is, right? He said there's an element that's not on our periodic table that these crafts are using to where we can't see them.
And this was uranium?
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
Yes, basically. And it's it's unobtainium, I think, but it's element 115. Now, when he came out, this wasn't on the periodic table.
Yeah.
20 years later, guess what? It's on the periodic table. There's no way he would have. How did you know that? Then he described some of the things that, like, there was a hand scanner that started up. Go watch the interview. It's fascinating. But as time has gone and come along, more and more of the things that he says are actually coming true now. So that's where this whole Storm Area 51 thing came from, is that this guy has been making all these claims and now these things are starting to come true. So people have made this petition to Storm Area 51, but this is my thing. Okay, first of all, do you think it was a UFO that crashed in Roswell?
I have no clue. There is something that happened there, for sure. Not just a weather balloon. There is no reason to set up an entire military operation over a weather balloon crashing.
Right. And before you go on that, the government actually denied the existence of Area 51 for like 20 years. 30.
But now they admit that it's there. I mean, it's obvious.
Right.
There's countless videos of people standing right outside the gates.
Right. And I think the explanation they give is they use it to test highly classified military aircraft, such as the SR-71 Blackbird. If you ever see that, it looks like a UFO, which goes again to, this came out of this place where y'all were reverse engineering UFOs, and this aircraft that we have looks like a UFO. It's a big black triangle. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, let's look at it skeptically for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be that there was actually some Russian or German, some weird technology that had happened to crash there?
Mm-hmm.
And they actually pulled out bodies that were actually Russian, or, I don't think Chinese were that technologically advanced at that time, which they could possibly be now. But could it be something like that we had an unknown technology that someone on Earth made that crashed there, and they're like, Jesus, we have to study this and reverse engineer it because we've never seen anything like this
from another country?
Yes.
You know what? That's actually one of the theories. They say that because some of the eyewitness says that there were markings outside of the craft, and it looked like symbols. But if you look at the Russian alphabet, it literally looks like symbols, and a lot of people say that that's what we saw on the side of the craft. So it could have been Russian. Could have been. But, okay, so yes or no? Do you think they took a UFO or aliens to Area 51? You had to put money on it.
A unidentified flying object,
Yes.
not necessarily out of this world, but
Right.
yes, I would put money that they found something there.
Okay, now, this happened in 47. It's 2019. If a million people stormed in there, I would willing to bet money that it's not there anymore. That it's all a facade. You're looking, Area 51 is so classified. Let's keep these camo dudes. Let's keep these do not enter signs. That's what you're focused on. But literally, two states away is where it's really happening.
Yeah. I mean, that could definitely be. It could be at any other military location, any fort, anything that's fortified in general.
Right.
That you can't get into. I mean, there's many of them all across the country.
What's the airport in Chicago? Not O'Hare.
Chicago is O'Hare.
O'Hare? I don't know if it was O'Hare, but a lot of people said they transported the bodies to one of those places. I can't remember which one, and a lot of people say that what's above ground, the military base, it's just for show, But till this day, there are, you can't take a bus to get to Area 51. You can't, if you work there, you can't take a bus. You can't take a car. There is airplanes that picks people up 3 times a day, and you can go to the airport in New Mexico and see this every day, and they're called the Janet planes. And they get brought there on a plane at 7, 8 o'clock, and then they get brought back at 5, and then they bring the next crew in. So there is something going on, alien activity. I'm not sure, man.
I'm not either, but why has no one that has ever worked there ever spoken out?
Bob Lazar.
But also, he's been discredited.
But
isn't that what they do to every single person that speaks out?
That they discredit him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that would be obvious. If you have secrets you don't want people to know, and someone actually leaks a secret, you just go, "Oh, that guy's a nut job."
Right. And now look at it from the military's point of view. Let's say, me personally, I think he did work there. I think he did work on reverse engineering. I think he says some things that just you can't make up.
Yeah.
So let's say he does come out, and the government's like, "We told you not to say this. And now you're telling the world." So if they kill him, that just makes it look even more. It
looks like it's real.
Right. So what they did, they tried to erase him. Let's take him from the payroll. Let's take him from his key card. Everything that has his name, let's take him off. But somebody found an old directory of the people that board the Janet plane, and Robert Lazar was on there. So
really?
Yes. It's crazy. Guys, go watch his story. It's phenomenal.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you erase everything possible. You know, they could have overlooked something. But if you erase everything possible, that way when he's telling his story, people can research it and go, well, he's a nut job.
Right.
I think he probably did reverse engineer something.
I think he did too, man.
Now, the debate just comes down to, was it of this world or not of this world?
You know, dude, please go listen to that Joe Rogan podcast.
I will.
Please. I mean, the way he Joe Rogan asked them, what did they look like? What did the craft look like? He's like, okay, there was a hatch that you walk in, and he said nothing had sharp edges. Now, just think about this. Imagine something from, and they said that it came from the Zeta Reticuli star system.
Yeah.
So imagine a craft coming from that far away landing. Now, I'm about to describe to you what a craft out of our solar system looks like. You ready for this?
Yes.
There's no sharp edges. Everything's rounded. Everything's connected. There's no wires. There's nothing that you think is an on and off switch. It's just curved. And there's no color. He said that everything's a pewter looking color, like a grayish dark green color. And the only way you can get it to operate is by putting your hand on this thing, and that somehow, I mean, I can't even, my brain's not smart enough to say the things that he says, you know.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, man. But I don't know, dude. It's crazy. But the fact that people are trying to storm Area 51 is
ludicrous.
Yeah, man.
I don't think anybody's actually going to do it, though. I don't think... Well, if you were actually planning this, wouldn't the dumbest way possible to go about it would be to put it on Facebook?
Right.
That...
Well, how would you get people involved? 1 million people, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's probably the only way through social media that you could gather a following of that much. But it's like a parody, maybe. I mean, I guess it's not really a parody because there's not an actual event to parody. But it's, I don't know. I don't even know the right word for it, but it's a meme.
So
I don't know. Like, do you think people are going to show up?
That's what I was just about to ask you. Let's say 1 million people did.
If 1 million people did show up, I guarantee you they're going to have extra security on that day.
You don't think they're planning that out now?
Yes, they are. They actually released a statement saying, hey, we know this is not actually real, but if anybody's thinking about coming,
you will be shot.
Yes, basically.
But okay, let's say they're online. They have made it to where they've got schematics on how they're gonna do it. Like 500 people go this way, then we're gonna have people shooting from this way, then we'll have people rush in this way. Like there's actually schematics and a plan on how to get into it.
Yeah.
But let's say people do get in, then what? I mean, what do you do? Let's say you stormed and me and you happen to get into the base. Now what do we do?
I don't know that there's anything they would find that would be helpful to... I mean, what would they be planning to further humanity? Like, now everybody knows the secrets. We can go forward.
Right.
Where are we going forward to?
Right.
And, I mean, are we thinking that there is a building in there that has this giant flying saucer that landed in the 40s?
I'm sure it's not there anymore.
That is still sitting there.
Nah.
The alien bodies are in the freezer over in the corner.
I mean, and there's a lot of other things that people are saying. They're saying that this is where they're making alien human
so we're getting
hybrids.
The rabbit hole's getting deeper here.
Oh yeah, dude. There's a lot of things. There's alien hybrids. There's
the center of the earth people, the underworld.
Yeah, what are they called?
Civilization.
There's a name, David Icke. You know David Icke.
David Icke. Yeah, that was his theory, right? Yeah, I think he was the reptilians guy. But
yeah.
There's also the whole theory of there's a whole civilization living underground.
Dude, we can talk about that. Think about this. The furthest we've ever dug was 8 miles.
Yes.
The deepest point on Earth is the Marianas Trench.
Yes.
No one's ever been. I mean, James Cameron did go, but he could only be there for a minute. Yeah. And he said it was nothing like he's ever seen.
Yeah, there was aliens.
Literally.
There. Yeah.
Literally. What if there is a civilization
under the earth, deeper than 8 miles, like 13, 15 miles deep?
Right. Think about that.
Well, the common problem would be, are they not using oxygen? Because if so, how are they getting oxygen?
Well, how does a mole live underground?
But there's still a ton of ways that has air flowing through, even with a mole.
Right.
But, and if they have plants there that is creating oxygen, what is the sunlight that is
keeping these people, that's providing
keeping the
oxygen.
Plants alive. Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just thinking about what we know as life.
You have to have sunlight for photosynthesis.
Well, maybe these people don't know what that is. Maybe, I mean, we're just thinking about our life. Like, the organisms on our arm, they don't know what.
It could be something, but, the common theory is that there's humans under there, or human-like creatures. But maybe there is. Maybe there is something that, because the creatures in Mariana's Trench are not using oxygen.
Well, water is made of oxygen.
Oh yeah, H2O.
H2O.
They're breathing water, basically. I mean,
that's actually a good point, and I wanna play you something. Keep talking.
But maybe there's creatures that breathe CO2.
Yeah, or
I mean, plants breathe CO2 and breathe out oxygen.
Right, and you never, like they always say, the middle of the Earth is a molten core, where that could be their sun. Maybe there's a sun inside of our Earth.
Wasn't that the whole theory behind Journey to the Center of the Earth?
I don't know. Explain.
That the core was actually the sunlight, and there were dinosaurs and everything. I haven't heard this story since I was in elementary school, but.
I mean, it could be a possibility. I don't.
That could be why we find dinosaur bones up here on Earth. Is that there's actually these fantastic creatures that are living down there, and their bones eventually make their way to the surface.
Right. Man.
I mean, it's a bit fantastic to think about, but.
God, I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to hear something. I'm gonna play it for you. Yeah, but who's to say that they need plant life? Who's to say that they need sunlight?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely could be organisms that function in a whole different way than mammals or fish even, or birds,
Right. I don't know, man.
What are you bringing up?
I don't wanna say it until I bring it up. Hold on.
All right.
Because this was actually documented. God, I gotta find it.
And if that is the case, do you think Area 51 is like a tunnel, like an entrance way to this other world?
That could be a point. I mean, God, dude, I have to let y'all hear this, man. Okay. Let's hope this is it. Let's hope this is it. Hold on. God, of course.
This is not something that's gonna get us pulled, is it?
No. This is actually proven. Come on, where is it? Yeah, tell them about the thing that we did. The
debate?
Yeah, talk to them about it.
Well, we actually had a debate last night, and it was on the moon landing, on the 50th anniversary of the moon landing.
Right. And
we were there. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people had a misconception of why we were there in the first place. As one of the debate attendees actually came to a conclusion, and he said, "Why are you guys here?" Because
what got to you about that?
Well, on this site, they're obviously used to people who are just hardcore disbelievers, these conspiracy theorists, and that's not what we are.
Right.
But we do like to bring up questions and things that don't make sense and try to get answers for those. So when we show up on this debate and we bring up the points to why people are saying the moon landing was faked.
Right.
They were expecting us to go hardcore and go ham on them and start screaming and throwing a fit, I'm sure. And
that's just not what we do.
It's not.
And I think me and you brought up some very valid points, man.
I think so. I mean, we actually brought up points that they couldn't answer.
Yeah, like what?
Like why would we spend billions of dollars just for posturing in this space race in the first place? They really had no answer other than, oh, well, it was to show Russia that we were better than them.
Right. Or when we had, and again, guys, I'll put the link in the description so you guys can go check it out. Also, when I brought up the Petrified Wood thing, they were like, oh.
The people in the chat had never heard of that.
Yes.
Except for the actual proprietor of the channel. What was his name?
Craig.
Yeah. He had actually heard of it, but he wasn't chiming in because he was staying out of the debate. It was between us and the casual spaceman and Dead Kennedy.
And, Dead Kennedy, he heard of it, but he didn't know where the sources came from. And somebody in the chat was like, oh, no, it was proven to be fake. So he was like, oh, no, somebody in the chat said it was proven to be fake. Oh, so that automatically proves it.
That's what I said to him.
I mean,
I was like, well, that's very credible sources you found.
Right. All right, I found what I wanted to bring up. We were talking, what I'm talking about, where they dug 8 miles underground.
Yes.
You've heard about that.
Yeah, well, there's the whole Siberian hellhole story.
That's what I'm about to bring up.
Yeah. The voices from Earth are real.
Guys, they dug first of all, it's a little weird. The deepest we've ever dug was 8 miles.
Yes.
That's a little weird. What stopped them from going 8 miles? Why didn't you go 15? Why didn't you go 50? Why didn't you go 100 miles?
Well, the official story is that it was too hot and the microphones were melting.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up because an independent researcher went to this hole, took a microphone that was surrounded by some heat-resistant metal, and he put this microphone deep down into this hole.
Yes.
And recorded some sounds. Guys, this is not made up. This is
actually what the guy says he recorded.
From 8 miles.
From the hellhole in Siberia.
This is what was captured on his microphone.
No, these are not alien sounds.
Oh, that's... You got the voiceover.
Well, yeah, here, I can play the first... Here, listen to this, guys. That literally sounds...
I've actually heard a cleaned up version without all the radio static.
And they're screaming. It's like it's hell.
Yeah. And of course, there's been many stories and people trying to debunk it and say that it's fake, of course. Now, we don't know.
We don't know.
Either way.
We don't.
But it's interesting to think, what if there is a civilization down there? I mean, the Christians were using it. They were passing it around the churches and playing it for their congregations.
That noise?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that was big. What was this, the 80s or 90s?
Really?
I first heard it in 2002, maybe.
I want to say I heard it on Mysterious Universe or...
That may have been, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it originally aired on Coast to Coast.
That's where I think I heard. Yeah.
Because, that was the whole clip of the sounds from hell are real. Art Bell was dead set that was a real recording. That someone stuck that microphone down in that hole and you could hear the screams from hell.
Man, let's just hypothetically think here. Let's say that is...
hell?
Yeah, man. Like, you're hearing screams and, and no!
Yeah.
Like...
Oh, yeah, you can make out voices in there, too.
Yeah, man. It's a little crazy, man.
What are supposedly demons? Now, I've heard debunking theories that a church put this together.
Yeah. Or it could be debunking from the scientific community saying, this is all you need to see. Don't go any further. This is all you hear. Yeah. Like, they don't want independent contractors and independent people to dig on their own, which could also be said about they don't want independent people flying above low Earth atmosphere. But something I wanted to bring up in that debate yesterday that I forgot to.
Yes.
Okay, we haven't been to the moon since 72, right?
Yes.
Now, since 72, there's nothing that has been past 400 miles of Earth's atmosphere. That doesn't... Since 72, nothing has been past...
Well, that was one of the questions I asked them. Why have we not been back? And their explanation was everyone lost interest.
That makes no sense. Why do you go see Statue of Liberty? Why do you go see Dinosaur Bones? If these are ancient relics, wouldn't you like to see these with your own eyes?
Now, to give them the credit, they did say that there are missions being planned. But I'm pretty sure there's missions that have been planned since 72.
Dude, what is that? 70, 80, 90, 2000, 10. That's almost 50. Well, I can't believe I just had to count that because we just did the 50 year.
Now, personally, I believe satellites have been to the moon. I believe satellites have been deep, even outside of our solar system.
Well, it's proven. Well, from NASA, it says we haven't sent anything past 400 miles. 400 miles of Earth's
No, there's
atmosphere.
satellites that are past Pluto now.
I don't think there is.
Yes.
I would like to.
What was that satellite's name?
Let's Google that because I don't think there's anything past 400 miles.
Yeah, it took like 22 years.
That sounds so sketchy to me.
Satellite outside of the solar system.
Let's see.
It was NASA's Voyager 1 spacecraft officially has become the first human-made object to leave the solar system and venture into interstellar space. Scientists confirmed yesterday, and that was September 12th of 2013.
Okay. Now,
It was launched in 1977.
yeah, but you're not telling me how far this is because I just Googled what is the farthest satellite from Earth's orbit. And the answer to that is high Earth orbit from geoastronomy to the moon, 363,000 kilometers out. But that's not even Earth's most.
No, that's one that's orbiting the Earth, not one that has been sent out of
okay.
the orbit.
Okay. Okay, wait, you might be right. Hold on. The most distant human-made object is the spacecraft Voyager, which
Yes.
in late February 2018 is over 13 billion miles from Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. Voyager 2 also flew by Uranus and Neptune. Okay.
Now, I want to say that we've landed a satellite on all of the, maybe not
Planet?
Pluto.
Well, they say you can't physically land on Jupiter because there's no ground. It's just a big gas giant.
Is that what it was? I know the one on Venus actually burned up. I think they tried that more than once.
Venus?
Yeah. But I think the last one we actually got a couple pictures before it burned up.
Pictures of Venus.
Mm-hmm. Or it was at least so hot that it shut down the mechanisms in there and we couldn't receive any further transmission from it.
Man, all this space.
Satellite on Venus.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
Satellites frequently mentioned on the web include Akatsuki, Mariner 10, Cosmos 96, and others.
I guess I'm probably using the wrong term because I'm saying a satellite for Venus is actually a satellite is orbiting
Yeah.
Venus, but there was actually a spacecraft that landed on Venus.
Again, you don't know if that's true. It could all just be propaganda that they're feeding us to make
It
us
could
give
all
them
be,
$50
but-
million a day.
Which is not enough to go to the moon.
What do you think about that? You don't think that's enough money?
Not according to them.
50.
But they're willing to believe the official story no matter what.
Right. Let's do the math on that. 50 million a day times 365. So how much does NASA get a year for funding? Let's see. How many zeros are in a million? All right, that's
There's gonna be
5,000.
6
Okay,
zeros.
okay, all right.
That's going to be
6.
8 digits.
Okay. NASA gets $2 billion a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's not enough to go to the moon?
How much did they say it cost? I couldn't remember the exact number.
Back in the 60s?
Yes.
But think about the
Do you
currency
remember
value.
the number? Because I was going to put it in today's money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So $10 back then would have been worth.
Yeah, and
Like-
didn't they say that it took an enormous amount of millions of dollars to go to the moon at that point in time?
Back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But then again, we think about this, though. We can create money.
especially the government.
Yes. Because really, what value does money have? all it is paper that is supposedly backed up by gold. But if you are the government,
Right.
what does gold even matter?
Mean, yeah. And who are you? Okay, let's say you're NASA and they have, all right, well, we have $1 billion. Who are you giving that $1 billion to? Here's the money. Here, give me a receipt so I can go. Like, who are you giving that billions of? Because
Yeah.
NASA is a government.
Yes. And the only thing that you could say would be holding back the distribution of not anomalous, but a distribution of unbacked money would be sending the economy into a free fall somehow. Like if you're just printing up all this money out of thin air, you could eventually crash the economy when there's no backing for it. But
What does that mean?
well, what it is a bunch of economic garbage or jargon, I would say, not really garbage, because people really believe in economics, but all it is a man-made construct. I mean, economics in general is a man-made construct. And think about this: when people were mining diamonds in Africa, the De Beers company, I'm sure you've heard of the De
I
Beers.
have.
So they were mining these gems, diamonds, that were worthless. And it was not valuable until they started running ads saying you need these for wedding rings.
A woman's best friend, or
Yes. So you start running ads, and that creates value out of something that had no value. So our money is backed up by oil.
Okay. Which a lot of people say. Some people say oil is limited. We only have so much.
Yes.
But a lot of people say oil is more abundant than water.
Yeah. They do say that because we were told as a kid that we would be out of oil
By this
the
time.
mid-2000s.
Yep.
Yes. But as time goes on, they're like, well, we found a plethora of ways to discover new oil.
Yeah.
Fracking and off-coast drilling and what have you.
And this whole fossil fuel things, like, I remember back in school they told us fossil fuel was made from dinosaur bones.
Yes.
Does that even sound legitimate? We are running our cars off of burnt dinosaur bones. But you want to save some of those dinosaur bones to put them in museums and have children come watch them and look at these beautiful displays of these ancient reptiles.
Well, I think you would need a geologist to explain it fully, but I mean, I do think there's a certain way that organic material can break down and form an ooze that becomes oil. Some of it could
That sounds
solidify
so weird
and
to me.
become coal.
That sounds so weird to me. But back to the money thing you were talking about. If we can print money, why is anybody poor?
Exactly.
If you can print, we can print it. Why is anybody poor?
That is things they've done actually when the economy has crashed in the past, is to give the economy a boost, you print extra paper dollars. You flood the market with paper dollars. People start spreading it around, and it brings the economy up artificially.
Right. Bro, let me tell you something. I used to work at this recycling plant called Pratt. You ever heard of Pratt?
I think I have, yeah.
The government, the feds would come in twice a month. Once every 2 weeks, they'd come in and bring a huge shipment of seized drugs, and burn them in an incendiary to.
Yeah, there's a big one on the northwest side of 285 there.
Right. I used to work at one. Literally, I would be the one where the feds would come in. I'd open the incendiary. How do you say it? Incendiary?
Yeah.
Where
you incinerate things.
Right, and they'd unload the drugs, and you'd burn the these seized drugs.
Yes.
But there would also be times where they would come and bring old money. I mean, bro, I'm not lying. God, strike me with lightning if I'm lying. They would bring literally millions of dollars and just chop them up. So at this place, you could do this to this day. Go to Pratt in Conyers, Georgia, and you just walk on the soil, just pick up a soil, literally crushed up hundreds, crushed up 50s. Why are we cutting money when people can't afford rent?
Because supposedly it's to keep the economy, keep your money backed by something. Because if there's no backing to your dollars, then your dollars
Become
lose
worthless.
value. Yes.
That makes no sense.
Why not?
If people are out here on welfare
Oh, it's definitely possible to do it in a secretive way. If you can flood the entire market with paper dollars and not tell them that there's nothing backing this, then people don't lose faith. People continue trading. They don't realize there's just more money going around.
But what does backing it have to do with anything?
Because of the stock market. Because if people know that there's nothing backing these dollars, then they stop trading in those dollars.
Right, but if you're able to print this money, just give people whatever they want. That way you don't have to have a stock market. You don't have to have these things.
But then it becomes devalued. And then, then you're spending $100 for a loaf of bread rather than $3.
Yeah, but if we can literally print the paper, $100 is nothing.
But then when people lose faith in it, they understand that we're just printing this out of thin air. Then the value just keeps going down and down and down until you're spending $1 million for a loaf of bread.
That's fine as long as we can print the money.
We would have to continue doing that forever. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay, but think about the company
That's why they have to let a depression or a recession happen from time to time.
That's so messed up.
To revalue the money.
That's so messed up.
It is.
If people, they say we want America to be the strongest country on earth. So if we can print money, just give people free money, man. Or take money out of the equation. Or
you go to a socialist society or a communist society.
Like what, China?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Whereas everyone is producing goods for the greater good of the community or the society.
I think I agree with that.
Communism and socialism make a ton of sense as far as a humanitarian perspective. Because everybody working to help everyone, isn't that great?
Absolutely.
And everybody surviving through the work of others as well as you're doing work to help others survive.
Yeah.
That is the greatest concept on earth. It has never worked out yet.
Maybe they implemented it wrong. Maybe
they did. Well, absolute power corrupts absolutely. When you have a single entity controlling the demands of the entire community, that power corrupts an individual and you get a Hitler, a Stalin, a Kim Jong-il. That's why they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the only way to actually make this work is to have a government controlled by the people that is running off socialistic values. You get it?
I get where you're coming from. It's just messed up, man.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's messed up that we can't figure it out.
I really believe this, man, that I really believe that there are some individuals in America that are so rich that they are given a card or a chip that literally has an unlimited amount. Like, take a Warren Buffett.
I mean, there's Warren Buffett. There's Bill Gates.
Yeah, you think they go into a Starbucks and give them, here's a $5 bill.
They can't.
They don't give them a $5 bill. I'm sure they have a card that has an unlimited spending amount.
I don't think those guys ever see paper money.
Yeah, or think even like some of the top athletes. Think about like a Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. Everybody's wearing his shoes. You think Michael Jordan has a $10 bill on him?
No.
I'm sure he has a card where it's unlimited amount. So why can't we just give that to everybody?
You could under a socialistic society.
I'm down for it.
I mean, of course they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't make it unlimited. You couldn't have infinity money.
Maybe like a cap every week or month.
Exactly. And that's what socialism is. What do they call it when everyone gets a certain amount every week?
Allowance.
Yeah, like a living wage.
Yeah.
There's an actual term for it that
allowance.
I'm just drawing a blank on right now.
Allowance, right?
Yeah, but there's an actual official term for it. But anyway, Joe Rogan actually had a guy on not too long ago, and that's another interview that I've been wanting to watch that I haven't. But the guy actually has a really brilliant idea, and he's figured out how we could make it all work. But it's not going to be implemented in America because we have unabashed capitalism. We have these people who are so greedy that they will not allow this to happen. And the people with the money have the power So the people with the money are not going to allow any societal changes to come into place that's going to affect their money.
You know, that it kind of sounds like modern day slavery. Instead of slavery,
We live on a giant plantation.
but it's not racism, it's classism.
Yeah.
Like, we are the elites.
Yes.
I don't know how we got onto this from Area 51, but
I don't know, but it makes a lot of sense, right?
yeah, man. I mean, you know, another reason it could be, if y'all listen to me, we can print money. The United Federal Reserve prints money. So just give it out if you can print it, as long as you have an unlimited amount of paper. Or actually, it's not even printed on paper, it's printed on cotton and ink. Just give people money, man. Now,
That's just it. I think the best way to do it would be to give everyone a simple minimum living wage.
right, a card
And
or
then
something.
allow you, if you want to do more work to gain more money, do that also.
See, that's why I think they wouldn't do it, is because it makes us lazy. Like, why do I need to go
That's
to work?
what that is one reason they're afraid of it.
Yeah, like, I don't need to come up with the new invention. I don't need to make the newest iPhone because, hey, I got enough money to just live for the rest of my life. What do I need that for?
There could also be a plan implemented to where if you don't hold up your end, you lose your wage.
Okay.
But as long as you're working and doing your job, then you get your wage.
what? Huh.
But we also have benefits for people who don't work in this country.
See, that's what I'm saying. If you had dude, oh my God, bro. If you just make healthcare free, but not necessarily a barter system, but if everybody had money, and let's say everybody got $50,000 a month, everybody.
Yeah.
So you have $50,000 a month, and you can't go over this, but you can go under, and it doesn't roll over. So this is your 50,000. You can't save that 50,000 the
I
next.
say the only way to do it, because to have more productive citizens, would be to allow them to make more than that wage if they
work harder.
work harder.
Right. Yeah. So I just think it would potentially make us lazy. It would take, like,
Now,
think about, let's say you get into a car accident and your leg gets chopped off. Well, dang, man, I need to go get I need to go to the hospital and get this surgery. Well, you go to the hospital, if everybody has an unlimited amount of money, well, there's nobody at the hospital because they don't need to work. You know, so
yeah.
you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that brings us back to maybe that's what we're already doing, because we have a minimum wage, and if you're working, you get a minimum wage.
is there such thing as a maximum wage?
I mean, only in sports that I know of. Now, if we set a maximum wage, that would boost this economy by. If we set it to $3.5 million a year, say,
No matter what.
yes, $3.5 million a year is a maximum wage. I think Jesse Ventura actually came up with this. If we set a maximum wage, everything that someone, say these Warren Buffetts or whatever, that are making billions a year,
Right.
when they go over, it goes into the community pot.
Ah, that's a good idea.
That way we can take care of the homeless. We can take care of the extremely poor.
There's not huge potholes on I-275, 285.
Exactly. We can take care of social structures,
Just curious.
infrastructure,
Why is Warren Buffett so rich? What does he do? What
trades, stocks.
kind of stocks?
I don't know what all he trades in.
Like Pepsi, DuPont.
Yeah, just stocks.
Huh.
He made it rich in the stock market.
Have you seen this guy?
I haven't seen too many interviews of him. No.
That he looks just like your typical good old boy, you know?
This
Got
would be a good debate if we could have an economist on.
Yeah, man.
We need Clark Howard to come on here and talk to us.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't it?
That would be awesome. We are well over our time.
Yes, we are. That was a good
Yeah,
good
man. I
conversation.
could keep going about this, man. But, guys, don't storm Area 51.
Don't.
And if you do, let me know and I'll be there.
It's not going to happen.
You don't think so?
Hey, let's take into consideration what they were saying last night.
What's up?
The people who were going to the moon, didn't care about the risk because they were doing something to further humanity.
Mandy, right?
Some of these people might actually show up and not care about the risk.
Because they think that they're doing it for the greater of humanity.
Yes.
But like I said in the beginning,
they're going to take one small run across that gate for man and one giant shot
leap.
back.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, though, man, they're going to go, and I don't think there's going to be any. I think Area 51 is literally just an office building. They're printing out paper. They're doing payroll.
I think if they manage to get in there, they're not going to find anything, and I really doubt that they're going to get in there in the first place.
Right. Anything else for the people, Smoke Dog?
That's it for today.
Man, that was a great episode. Y'all, I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to the 29th episode of the Trash Talk Podcast. My name is Barringer Hollywood 6 Bynes.
I am Larry Smokey Ramirez Cowan.
And I love you.
I love you more.
And we're over and out.
Deuces.